Hey everybody, welcome back to Tarot Sphere 25 on YouTube. However you find us, I am Sharon. This is Bethany, Astrologer. We've got Manzella in the house. We've got Justina in the house. And we've got Slayer in the house. And we all are so excited to be here to do the second part of our two-part Christmas Mystery series. Tonight is going to be a doozy. I am telling you. And I know y'all are going to learn some things you never knew about before that is associated with Christmas. Yay. So, we are going to start out with It's a Wonderful Life, that incredible Christmas movie. It's really actually such a treasure. And actually, since 1977, which we'll find out why, it has become the hottest Christmas movie ever made. It's just the epitome of Christmas everywhere. So, this movie was released December 20th in 1946, and you're not going to believe this, but it was a huge flop. I mean, it bombed. Nobody had anything to do with it. Now there is a reason for this. 1946, this movie had connotations to the war. Oh. And it was such a stressful reminder that nobody wanted to watch it. So it flopped. And that was very unexpected. Jimmy Stewart, who was born in 1908 and passed away in 97, he was the star of this movie. But before we get to him, I want to talk about an actress called Carolyn Grimes. Carolyn was Zuzu, was Daddy. Every time you hear a bell, an angel gets his wings. She plays a little tiny girl, his little daughter, and it's so sweet. She's so cute. She has the cold, and they're all worried she's sick and all. Carolyn Grimes made that movie. Her father passed away, and her mother remarried and wanted nothing to do with her, so sent her off to live with her uncle and aunt. Now, her uncle and aunt, fanatic, stringent, fanatical in every sense. She wasn't allowed to do anything. Her acting career right then and there. Believe it or not, the first time she saw herself in this movie, she was in her early 40s.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. And she cried. Mm-hmm. So that in itself, that had all been stripped away from her life. And that's very traumatizing, tragic, but that is very fascinating. Now, there's more. I mean, there's so much more about this movie. I literally had to just pick a few little things because we have so many movies to talk about. Jimmy Stewart himself, fascinating man. This man, I'm just in shock. Jimmy Stewart served in the U.S. Army Air Force. He didn't just serve. He was a bomber pilot in World War II. He went on World War I. He went on 20 combat missions near Germany over Nazi-occupied Europe. I mean, he was in the thick of it. He wasn't just, hanging out in the barracks. Like, he was, releasing bombs on Nazis in Europe. Okay, so by the time the war ended, he was a colonel. However, he did continue serving through the Air Force Reserves until 1968. He retired not as a colonel, but as a brigadier general. Wow. Because he additionally flew observation missions in Vietnam.
Okay.
Wow. He was in a prison.
Who knew? Who knew? Now, He was referred to as very super skinny, and there is a reason for this. He had a hard time eating. He was mostly only ever seen eating peanut butter, or there was one other thing that he ate. His stomach couldn't handle food. He had so much PTSD from being in the Nazi Germany war. It It was very funny, but I mean, be prepared to be surprised because if you've seen the movie, and most of us have seen the movie, that very gut wrenching scene when George Bailey is on the bridge wanting to jump off into everything, and the moment he starts shaking and crying, well, the director realized immediately this is not how it was written in the script. So they kept rolling the film. He was actually reliving the war and in a PTSD he was having a response. Yeah. Yeah, because of the war. He was literally reliving the war. And they just kept shooting the film because it just went right along. And so that was real life. That was not acting. That was actual real life. Um,
That's why.
Tragedy. I mean, can you imagine? I don't understand these people who glorify war. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't think they understand what war really is. It's really, really upsetting. However, how fascinating for Jimmy Stewart. Incredible man. A few more things. The set was built on 3 blocks. That whole set was built. There was no real. The set was built on 3 blocks, and guess what? It was in the dead middle of the summer, and it was over 90 degrees. So while they're all in their wool coats and hats and mittens with all the fake snow, there were people. I mean, it was bad. Remember, this was 1946. Heat stroke wasn't really considered probably a big thing. People were getting sick. It was really bad. They all got through it. They had to close the set down, I know, at least one whole day just to let people like get hydrated or something because it was that bad. So then in 1977, back to 1977, like I said, the film was a complete bomb. But in 1977, for some reason, some person decided they were going to run the show nonstop for like 24 hours or something. And so all the local shows like NBC, ABC, whatever they were just running it. And that's when it hit. And it has been the biggest Christmas show hit ever since. Isn't that fascinating?
That is fascinating.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Can I talk about his chart for a moment?
Yes.
So Jimmy Stewart has Cancer rising, so it's the first house, and it has a lot to do with health and vitality. It also rules the stomach. So when you say that he had trouble keeping food down or like had trouble with food, I see that in his chart. He also has Venus conjunct Neptune in his chart. This is an aspect. It's an aspect for eloquence or persuasion. This would make for a really talented actor or a really slick lawyer, or if it's in a person who's like ill-heeled or not healed, this could make for like a con person, which I'm not saying Jimmy Stewart was that.
Yeah, he won an Oscar as a lawyer in was it the Philadelphia?
Oh.
Slayer, we looked that up. Jimmy Stewart's Oscar, what the movie was.
Oh, Jimmy Stewart.
So that's in his chart. He also has his sun in Taurus. Taurus is a sign that has a lot to do with food. Oh, and Jupiter in the second house is generosity. So he was probably an exceptionally generous person.
He was a family man, completely devoted, 100+% to his family. He was traditional. He was classic. I mean, he had every I died, every T crossed. It was his natural way of being.
Okay.
Philadelphia stories.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Where I think he played an attorney. I could be wrong. Or Mr. Somebody Goes to Washington. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Maybe that's the
Okay. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh wow! So that's fascinating. So the story came up, and the acting came up, but nothing about the military service. So.
I actually don't see that so much. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't really. He's got Saturn and Aries in the 10th house. I don't see anything that says like he was drawn to the military. Was he drafted, or did he?
No, he
Okay, he volunteered. Okay.
In fact, he volunteered before World War II.
Oh, really? Okay.
He didn't volunteer because of World War II.
Okay.
We weren't in it
That's
at that
interesting.
time.
Okay. I don't see, like, he was in the military for a really long time. He does have a conjunction between Mars and Pluto and Gemini, but it's in the 12th house. Anyway, let's get past it. Okay, yeah.
Well, fascinating.
Yeah, Greek story. I was going to say, when you were talking, I saw there's like, one of part of the reason that it didn't do as well is I guess there was some, they kind of, there's viewed it as communist propaganda.
Oh yeah, it was like communist because of the war.
Yeah.
So it was blacklisted as well. So I forgot to bring that up. I'm glad that this later you caught that because that is a true fact. So that and there were a few things, and that was definitely one of the biggest.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess I didn't like it.
That was that the Kevin McCarthy
Era.
era.
That was in the 50s.
Okay, so this was right before, but anyway, it was, and they were so afraid of communism and everything back then. So
Well, no, actually, if you think about it, because we just saw the whole thing with about the making of the atomic bomb. Uh, they were going after what's the guy's name?
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. Yeah, so we saw the Oppenheimer movie, and it was right after that that they blocked him from the atomic commission because of potential communism. So the whole case of communism was absolutely right at the end of the war and following.
okay,
Yeah.
well there you go. Now there's much more if you want to find stuff out on your own. There's a lot of research out there, but how fascinating is all of that? Now, 'twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house, what is it?
Not a creature was stirring.
Not even a mouse.
Okay, we are going to talk about the very famous poem originally titled A Visit from St. Nicholas. Okay, this poem was anonymously published on December 23rd, 1823 in the Troy Sentinel in New York. Anonymously. The verses that were written in this poem to this day by scholars have been deemed to be the best verses known ever to have ever been written in a poem. Ever. Now, this is the fascinating part. This poem, if you know anything about literature, I'm so glad I took those Harvard online classes
Like your
because I learned about this stuff.
like your critical analysis one and all that.
Yeah. But I learned about this. Poems have a rhythm, okay, and they have titles. So this poem was, the poetic rhythm was called anapestic tetrameter. Anapestic tetrameter creates like a musical rhythm to it, like a feeling. It makes you like feel magical, and it does a beat. You know, it's got a beat, and you're expecting. You know where the next one's going to come from, and you know what the feeling's going to be to follow. So that's what this poem was written on. Why is this important? Well, Just so happens I happen to know that answer. 20 years later, American writer Clement Clark Moore claimed ownership as the original writer. A visit from St. Nicholas. It says 20 years later. Now, here's the kicker. Moore's poems had always favored iambic poetry, which is rigid. It's rigid.
That's what Shakespeare used.
Oh yeah. It was not like anapestic tetrameter. It was more formal. It was restrained. Um, so people were confused as to why he had written this poem. Well, that's probably because now entertainment only, and this is my opinion. I do not believe that he wrote this poem. I think it became a big deal, and because it was anonymously published, he took possession of that right. However, there is a writer named Henry Livingston Jr. Henry was known for using anapestic tetrameter, and the very unbelievable thing is that his family remembers him reciting the poem years before it was published in 1823. So I believe Henry Livingston Jr. is the real writer of "Twas the Night Before Christmas," and I think Mr. Clement Clark Moore pulled a fast one.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, talking
Wow.
about sleepism.
Yes, and many scholars believe
Oh
that
yeah.
Henry Livingston Jr. is the true writer. Well, how do you do it?
You just pull it apart.
Oh, they don't fly?
I don't
I'll
know.
clap to that one because it's fascinating. I think you know.
Oh yeah, it just makes a big popping
I
noise.
did. Oh, is that on the desk? It doesn't fly stuff?
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
All right, well, we thought we would have these like cracker swap when we learned something that was very interesting that we didn't know. So, Mr. Henry Livingston, you got the crackers. Should we bring him through? I want to.
Really?
Yes.
He's just gonna say that he wrote it.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But let's ask him.
Okay.
I mean, I think that he wrote it.
Inside.
Oh, you got a crowd.
Well, one thing about the "Twas the Night Before Christmas,"
I'm just going to bring you while you're talking.
one of the things about it is that it's probably one of the poems that, I mean, we all have heard it in so many different ways. It sure paints a vivid picture of the feeling of Christmas as good as anything. I mean, my gosh, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Okay, let's see if we can get him. I don't know that we will. I mean, he's coming along time. Henry Livingston Jr., writer and likely wrote A Visit from St. Nicholas. Can you please come visit us? We will wait. Are you here? You see?
I thought that's no.
No, that's a yes. This is yes. This is no. This is I can't. Okay. Let me ask you. Henry Livingston Jr., the writer, the poet. Are you here to speak with us? Yes. Okay, that is fantastic. Can you please point to Rendell? No, I tried, but right. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Okay, please answer. I'll tell you what I think. I think you did write it. Will you please tell us Did you write a visit from St. Nicholas? Did you write a visit from St. Nicholas? Yes. Did did is it what's his name again? He has a hard name. Clement Clark Moore. Did Clement Clark Moore write a visit from St. Nicholas? No.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Wow. Well, I hope you know even today how important your poetry stands and that you are the king, known as the best known verses ever written. That is what literature scholars feel about your poem. What or does that make you happy? Oh,
Yeah, that's awesome.
well, it makes us happy too, and you make children and families happy all over the world. So thank you for your contribution to literature. Thank you.
Yeah,
And you will let me know now. That was, oh, wait, what? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's in honor of your great.
Oh, maybe you're supposed to twist them.
Oh, is that what it
I think
is?
that's what it is.
I think you pull
Okay,
it
well,
quick.
you don't
You
know
pull
what
it
to do, but Mr.
Okay.
quick and hard.
What did you get?
myself it was the night before Christmas charade book.
Did you really?
Wait, what?
Says what's bad tempered and goes with custard? Apple crumble.
What?
It's a charade thing. Let's see. What's bad tempered and goes with custard? Apple crumble. No, apple grumble. Apple grumble. It's bad tempered. So that's what it says. This was in your.
I have one. Why are Christmas trees so bad at sewing? They are always dropping their needles.
Mine is what ship would you take to a party?
Oh,
An icebreaker.
Oh.
Oh yeah, yeah.
oh, is that an icebreaker?
Look, I got this really beautiful little silver pencil.
I got one too, and I went to use it because I thought it was so pretty, and I barely touched the paper, and the tip broke, and I don't have a pencil sharpener, so I don't have it anymore. All right. Well, okay. That was a great mystery.
Yeah, thank you.
Was it not? Now. A lot of people don't like this one. We are moving on to Mr. Charles Dickens, who wrote The Christmas Carol.
Among other things.
Well, among other things. We're talking about A Christmas Carol tonight. This is a Christmas show. Mr. Dickens was born February 7th. Okay, yeah. Now, a lot of people have some opinions about this man. I did a lot of research on this gentleman, and I really understand why people have opinions on this man. But we are going to start with his childhood, and it's going to lead us straight to how and why The Christmas Carol was written by Mr. Charles Dickens. Dickens. Let's talk. Charles Dickens. Okay. This guy at 12 years old, or do you want to do this?
No, you go
do
first.
the chart first.
No, you go first.
Okay. At 12 years old, his father went to debtor's prison, so he got into too much money, financial trouble. He was arrested and put in prison. In debtor's prison, which I can only imagine is very, in whatever it was, very cold, awful. Charles didn't stay in prison with his family very long. He was left to leave the prison. The family was left destitute. That Charles was only in the prison with the family for a short time.
Wait, the family went to prison?
Yeah, they were allowed to bring their families to the debtor's prison. They couldn't bring them down because there was no way to take care of their families, which they were put away.
Okay.
But they didn't let him stay. And he then had to, at 12 years old, get lodging and live by himself. And, well, he was given a job at Warren's Blackened House. Imagine being 12 years old in the 1800s and working at a place called Warren's Blackened House. His job at Warren's Blackened House was 10 hours a day putting labels on shoe polish bottles. The factory was ravished with rats. It was filthy. It was disgusting. This was, he had no support. So this is what he did. He did what he had to do. So he had to go do this, right? So
That's actually in his chart. Or something like art, not this part.
yes.
So when he was born, he had Jupiter, Gemini, retrograde, in the 10th house. 10th house has to do with career, but it's also reputation and environment. So I like to imagine you live in a old village or something.
Okay.
If you're the baker, we're gonna know you as the baker, even if you're a terrific mother and have a lovely sick voice, right?
Okay.
It's how the community, it's the use the community has for you, whether or not it's the picture. So in his progressed chart, Jupiter goes from retrograde to correct when he is 13 years old. It means that there was a transition around 13. So
That's bigger.
yeah, so
And I think
he
that's probably good.
yeah, so he had a career. He started a career, and he would have been known. Was he the only boy? Was he known as the man of the family at that point?
They don't talk about his siblings, but they
Okay.
do say the mother did not support him in any way. Just kind of,
Okay,
yeah, like just move along. Like,
okay,
hey, you work in the factory. Who cares?
okay, okay. So yeah, at a minimum, he is known differently in his community.
Okay.
So the astrology backs that up.
Wow. Well,
Okay.
as a child, it gets worse because then when his father got out of debtor's prison, his parents said, well, his father said, no, you're staying at the factory. You're not allowed to go back to school. And his mother gave him no support at all.
How long was the father in debtor's prison?
I couldn't find that out. So, eventually, he lost his job at the shoe polish place.
Yeah.
And then it just jumps to him as this writer writing all these books, okay? So let's not forget, his mother didn't do anything for him. He was on his own in the most horrific circumstances and expected to carry the financial responsibility. I mean, and he was a brilliant mind who only wanted to go to school, right? So, this is where Scrooge, the Christmas Carol, becomes extremely interesting. He did end up getting married.
Mm-hmm.
He was a terrible husband.
Yeah.
He was married to Catherine Hobart in 1836. He was controlling. He was critical. He would call her out in public in front of people. He was cold. And he was emotionally abusive. They were married 22 years. They had 10 children.
So that's in his chart as well. Not the 10 children part, but he's not good at relationships.
Nope.
So he has two aspects to that. He has the North Node in the first house, which means there's it solidifies the self, and it forces the other half of a relationship to kind of go by the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
So he has this allegiance to himself, and he doesn't always know how to include a partner in his life. So that's one. The other one is in his 7th house. He has Venus conjunct Pluto, and they are very tight, less than a degree apart. It could be like love bombing, like early in a relationship. This is unhealthy. Codependent relationship. It can also be straight up emotional abuse.
Yeah.
And I just want to clarify, if you have this in your chart, I'm not saying that you are emotionally abusive, just that this is certainly how Charles Dickens acted. If he had put effort into overcoming it, he probably could have, but that's not what men did in this part of history.
Especially,
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, please continue.
no, I think that's fascinating.
Okay.
Okay, so after 22 years, he divorces her. He throws her out of the home, and he keeps 9 of the 10 children, and then instructs the servants that the other child is just no part of anything and not to acknowledge her existence. It was a girl.
Oh my god.
Felt there was a lot of psychological
Yeah.
cruelty.
You think?
Yeah, I think he then got in a long-term relationship with a woman named Ellen Turner, and she was 27 years younger than him. There is speculation she had a child with him, but the child didn't survive. But there is no proof that this is a true.
Okay.
True. As a father, he was emotionally unavailable. He was an authoritarian, and he invested most of his time in his work. He could have cared less about the kids.
Okay.
Patterns. Abandoned at 12.
Yeah.
Forced into child labor. Betrayed by his parents. Psychological effects. Hyper control as an adult to control your situation. Fear of dependency. Couldn't tolerate vulnerable abilities because he was never allowed to be vulnerable. How could he care if anybody else was, right? So now we get to the literature of Scrooge. Think about what Scrooge was. He was exactly Charles Dickens. Because Charles Dickens didn't know how to be anything else. But he knew it was wrong. He knew deep down, but he couldn't live it. He didn't have counseling back then. He didn't have mental health. He didn't know how to be who he really wanted to be. Now this is going to be a cracker moment, you guys. So he wrote Scrooge. He wanted to get it written before he had passed on. And not yet.
Okay.
You'll know
Okay.
the moment.
Okay.
He wrote Scrooge to be visited by the ghosts, because in Victorian times that was what they did at Christmas anyway. But it was the only way he could be who he probably felt he should have been, but he couldn't be there in reality because he didn't have the tools for it.
Okay, so what you're saying is Ebenezer Scrooge goes through a transformation that Charles Dickens maybe wished he could have done, but did not understand how to manifest for himself.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, no,
okay?
because it's even better. Who did he hate? He hated the kids. Didn't care if they starved. Didn't care. Oh, let him work in the factory. You know, who cares? Let somebody else carry. You know, who cares about any of that? Love of his life, leave him. All of it. Everything that happened to him. So, when he wrote Scrooge, it was such it was so just embraced with the literature of this show. This book
Story.
was so embraced brilliantly that when he was buried, he didn't want to be recognized. He was buried at, you're not going to believe this, at Westminster Abbey.
Yeah.
He is buried in the poet's corner.
Interesting.
But he didn't want to be recognized. So after he wanted a small, simple nothing. After he was buried, they said, we don't care. The literature is the greatest, one of the greatest works of literature. Because of that book, social reform
Oh yeah.
for families and children happened because of that book. And so there's your proper meaning. He was actually Scrooge, but he knew deep down he didn't want to be it. He didn't know how to not be it. But through his literary work, brilliance, he changed and he started reform for fantastic.
Yeah, that is.
I got tabs and I use these.
There's one more thing I'm going to hit on this. He died at 58, so that's relatively young, but not really when you consider the life he had. Scrooge has been done in every way, shape, and form. Christmas Carol, theater, movie, every way you can imagine, every kind of actor. It just has been done. But I will tell you, Leslie Bricusse, the famous producer from London, he did a musical movie that he wrote, and he does credit Charles Dickens as a writer, the head writer. It came out in 1970, called A Christmas Carol. Robert Finney starred in it. If you want to know the real Scrooge, you must see that movie.
Okay.
That movie depicts, I think, and I've seen probably every Scrooge ever made, I think that movie depicts Scrooge so perfectly. So, I mean, just the darkness and the cold and the kids just running around with no parents and just the unfeeling and the disdain. And I mean, that movie is brilliant. Not to mention it's a musical. The music is out of control. So if you want to reconnect with the Christmas Carol Scrooge, please tune in this season and watch it. I don't think that you will be disappointed by any means. That is a personal shout out by me because I've seen it probably 250 to 300 times. Albert in 1970.
I would say since I'm Sharon, I've probably seen that movie at least 50 times.
Wow.
It's that good. But it really will give you that real feel.
Okay.
It really takes you there.
We'll probably end up watching it tonight.
Well, we just might.
I'm gonna watch the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh,
That's
It's my favorite.
surprisingly.
Well, as long as you're on that one, then you also got to just divert for just a brief moment
mm-hmm.
and also watch Muppet Treasure Island. It's also a great one.
That's also a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Muppets do good work.
and not only that, but one of the greatest actors ever is in Muppet Treasure Island.
Who?
Chuck Norris.
It's
Yeah, I'm not even going to give you
what's his name?
I know who
That was
you're
a
talking
funny
about. I know, and I
just saying that's funny.
he was also in
Tim Curry.
Yes.
Really?
Yep. He's he plays Long John Silver, and but anyway, but I do agree that the Muppet Christmas Carol is a really good one too.
Yeah.
So, yep. But yay! So anyways, we got through Christmas Carol. What a fascinating story! I did not know all those details, and it sure sounds like you say, he vicariously through his work portrayed the life that he would have preferred to have
Alter ego.
an alter ego through that storyline.
But I don't
Just
think
fascinating.
it is fascinating. But it's actually, the kicker is that
It changed
not
him.
only did he get to live it in the only way he knew how,
Right.
he created
Reform,
reform.
which is amazing.
I did not know.
Thank God we don't have debtors prison.
My goodness.
You know, they might try to bring it back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
here
got
they
shot.
would.
Yeah.
Here they would.
I like the Alistair Sim version too. That was from 1951.
The what?
Alistair Sim.
Oh yeah, we've seen
That's a good one.
what's the really old one that we've seen? It's black and white and it's Scrooge.
Oh yeah.
It's like from 1920 something or
So do we have any golfers in the house?
No.
no.
We have one. So my my little Christmas popper right here. It had another little questionnaire thing in here. Why did the golfer wear an extra pair of trousers
Why?
in case he got a hole in them?
Uh-huh.
This was Sharon's little gift to me. So this is yeah.
What do snowmen like most about school?
Oh goodness.
Snow and tell.
Oh, that's pretty good. Snow and how cute.
What do you get when you cross an apple with the Christmas tree?
Oh goodness.
A pie?
A pineapple.
Oh,
Pie?
yeah.
Done?
Well done. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That one smelled like it caught on fire. That was cool.
Yeah.
Like a firecracker.
Yeah. Goodness.
So here's a little writing pad.
Oh, thank you.
I think this might be a little Sudoku.
All righty. Well, we have one more mystery.
Yay!
Yay.
This is the dun, dun, dun,
Da-da-da-da.
Dun-dun-dun.
the big one.
The big one.
I don't know where you thought what we've been
The big
doing.
one.
But
House.
however, do we want to talk to Charles Dickens or no?
Now,
Yeah. All right, we'll let it go. I'll talk to you another time, maybe next year. Okay.
but I love that
Mr.
story. That was a good story.
It's fantastic. Mr. St. Nicholas.
Oh goodness.
He was real. Santa Claus was real.
Yeah.
Santa Claus lived in the end of the third into the beginning of the fourth centuries. He was a Greek bishop in Myra. Myra used to be Turkey.
Okay.
He was from Turkey. He was born into a wealthy family, and when his parents died, they left him the inheritance. He was a very kind man, and he secretly, at nighttime, would go around and give all his money away. So back then, girls had to have dowries to get married, and so if they didn't have dowries, they were like forced probably into prostitution. There were three sisters, so it started kind of with these three sisters. He heard about them, so at night he left gold for the three sisters so that they would have a dowry and get married. And then he just started doing it, and he would put it because everyone had chimneys back then. It was the only way you had heat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he put them in chimneys or in through windows. And in those days, you would have your shoes and stockings, laid out to dry. And many times they would land, the gold coins would land in the shoes or the stockings. So while they're drying.
Okay.
Went on to be this incredibly respected man. He never took any kind of notions for his good deeds. He did everything anonymously. When he passed away, he was, people came to see his tomb in Turkey. People traveled to see it, like he was that big. So, in 1087, some sailors from Bari, which is in Italy, they broke into the tomb and they stole his bones, his skeleton. His remains were transported back to Italy. Eventually, the remains were recovered, and they are now in a, I never can say this word. What's that word? What word? It's not a sarcophagus, that's the throat. A sarcophagus? I can't say that word, sarcophagus. He is in a sarcophagus in Basilica de San Nicola. However,
You choose some Italian grave robbers.
yes, however, there were a few remains, fragments found in Turkey, and somehow they got transported to Italy, or if they traveled there, whatever. And they are in. So some of his fragments are in a place called. It's in Venice, and it's called San Nicolo al Lido. Now, here's the interesting thing about this, you guys. First of all, the sarcophagus. Oh my God, I said it right. Said it right. The sarcophagus seeps this colorless, watery liquid inside it. Gross. It's been going on for 1,000 years. Every year on May, I think it was 9th, yes, May 9th, which is the anniversary that they got the bones there, they will open the sarcophagus. But they have a way to get a vial down in through there, and they collect all this, and it's called mana. This liquid is called mana of St. Nicholas. And they collect it, and then they add teeny tiny amounts to holy water, and it goes out worldwide. And the thing about this is supposed to bring health, those kinds of things, health, good luck, protection, in 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 an anonymous way, because it's coming from this vial that nobody knows what this liquid is. So it carries the Santa Claus thing. So there have been scientists who have researched this stuff. It is, hold on, let me find my notes on this. I'll get back to that when I find my notes. But the crazy thing is that this has been going on for 1,000 years. Yeah. It's like consistent. Yeah. It's consistent. So researchers believe the mama could be condensation, groundwater seepage, natural mineral leaching. Mineral leaching is when water mixes with minerals that rubs off like stones and such, and then turns into something. Mm-hmm. But the phenomena has been consistent, localized to the tomb, and long documented, which continues the mystery. Now, there were scientists in 1953 that examined the bones in Bari, so that was where most of the skeleton was. And those bones are consistent with an elderly gentleman from that region of the right age from that period. So they are very convinced this is true first Santa Claus. Now, the fragments that are in San Nicolo al Lido, they have not been tested, but they are fragments that are the exact fragments that are missing from the skeleton.
That's great.
Oh. So it is assumed that they are as well from the real Santa Claus. So he has remains in 2 different places in Italy, and I think that's a fascinating story.
That is cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Santa Claus. What a great guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, it's ridiculous.
What a great guy.
Yeah, sorts of stuff. Okay.
So people really recognized that he was such a good guy that they actually wanted from him.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Honor him and also protect him. So that's really neat. So that's been a long time. Like really long time.
Yes.
From like 300?
The late 3rd century to the early 4th century. So it was I think it was like 278 to like 3 something.
I was fortunate to be able to go to Europe one time, and one of the little towns that I went to, it's called Aachen. It's in Germany, and they have a cathedral there. But it was built in like 300. Same time frame. And the guy who was there, died a lot of people, and there was a lot of stuff like what happened here in Italy. This guy's name Charlemagne. I went and saw the dome of Charlemagne. He's a
Wow.
very famous leader of the peoples, but they had outreach to different what's now known as countries like Italy and so on. So it was very interesting, anyways, that this would have been the same kind of time frame
Yeah.
of like Charlemagne. Santa Claus would have been like alive right in that same time frame. Charlemagne was like really a real big deal.
It's fascinating. I wonder.
It's not fair. I majored in French.
She majored in French,
So it's not fair. Okay, King of the Franks from 768.
Where was his dome? You might be talking about the French Charlemagne.
There's only one Charlemagne.
Yeah, then you might be talking about the French.
No, there is only one. He was crowned Holy Roman Emperor in Rome by Pope Leo III in the year 800.
So she had her facts.
Okay.
So Santa Claus predated Charlemagne. That's the point I wanted to ultimately bring to light. Since I'm wiggling out of it.
fascinating.
Fascinating. Well, good work,
This was
everyone.
our Christmas. This was the most is the end of our Christmas mystery.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Well done.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy
Please
holidays.
like and subscribe. Come on, we do a lot of research. We're entertaining. We're fun. We're nerds. We have a great time. We are so happy that you joined us. So
Yes.
thank you for that.
Thank you.
And we will be back soon, back on the murder mysteries now. Now, we will be having a New Year's Eve mystery night. Extensively shows. I don't remember what it's about, but it's going to be good.
Oh, I'm going to make astrological predictions for 2026.
Oh, that's right. Betty, our astrological predictions.
Yay.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
End of the year show.
I have my
Yeah, that'd be good. And be safe, everybody. And also, if by chance you come into some serious wealth like Santa Claus did, share that wealth.
Yeah,
Help people.
Yeah.
Yeah, be a good person like Santa Claus, and Jimmy Stewart was a good guy, and
We're all good.
You're all easy.
but anyways, what a bunch of lovely stories tonight.
Yes, thank you, Sharon.
Thank you. Thanks for all the research too. Plus, having facts straight.
Yes, no problem with that. Well,
Yay!
happy holidays.
Happy holidays,
Enjoy the
everybody.
rest soon.
Yeah, and hopefully Santa Claus will bring you a nice gift.
Yay.
Yay!
Except you, Joe. You get one.